Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thanks everybody that views us. This fool dragged me out of bed because I'm sick, but we still got to give y'all the news.
I like your hat though, bro. That's
Thank you. I was trying to get bucket hats into my repertoire, but my head's too big, and so it hurts right now, and I can't take it off.
Stuck.
Like, yeah.
It's stuck on there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And I even got my hair braided, put a do-rag on. It's just not working for me. Don't mind my cool, sexy, smooth jazz voice, folks. This is what it sounds like when I don't feel good. You're listening to Uncommon Courtesy.
Hey, make sure y'all watch us on every Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do a live show. Make sure y'all tune in. We would love to hear from y'all on a consistent basis, making sure we can go ahead and get a little bit of banter back and forth over some of the subjects some of the topics we talked about during the week. We want to hear your point of view. We always give you ours, so it's great to hear from y'all.
Yeah.
We want to start the show off. Everybody's been talking about it. Hurricane Milton makes landfall in Florida as a Category 3 storm. Hurricane Milton made landfall Wednesday along Florida's Gulf Coast as a Category 3 storm, bringing powerful winds, deadly storm surge, and potential flooding to much of the state. Milton drew fuel from an exceedingly warm Gulf of Mexico waters, twice reaching Category 5 status. The cyclone had a maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour as it roared ashore near Siesta Key, a prosperous strip of white sand beaches about 70 miles south of Tampa. The Miami-based National Hurricane Center said Tampa Bay area has not taken a direct hit from a major hurricane in more than a century, but the storm is still bringing a potentially deadly storm surge to much of Florida's Gulf Coast, including the cities of Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and Fort Myers.
You know, it's crazy, man. It's like a lot of people are using this opportunity of this storm and the one from Helene to just like spread misinformation, disinformation, and just for clicks and political gains. But it's like, you know, it's all this like, what are you doing? You're just putting other people at risk. They have people going down there to attack FEMA workers.
Yeah,
they're saying, oh, the $750 is all they're going to get. No, that's for necessities right now.
That's
it's
day.
crazy. All
Here
the people in Florida that all the Republicans that voted against the FEMA bill, their counties are about to get hit.
Yeah, and we all know that Trump and the 2025 whole project 2025, they want to get rid of the
NOAA.
Yeah, and also a lot of the government agencies that help with these type of situations. I've been watching. They said that I think there was what was that? Lindsey Graham had said some things, and then people went down and started attacking FEMA workers. During Hurricane Katrina, people didn't get $750 immediately. That didn't happen. They sat out there on roofs. And thousands, I think, people died during Katrina. It was a different situation. That's not to say not to compare the two, because even with Helene, that was a horrible hurricane. I watched like in Tennessee. That was horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how this lady was living alongside a river, and she was like, oh, it normally only rises about 10 feet. It's kind of where it is now. It was a river, then it was an embankment, and then it was a road, and then it was another big embankment up into her house. And she was just saying, oh, we'll be okay. We'll ride this out. They showed 24 hours later, the road was gone. Her embankment was gone. Everything on the other side, it was just the river had like quadrupled in size. It was huge, just raging. Looked like the ocean. Didn't like no regular little small river you would see somewhere else. It was crazy. Everything had washed away all the way up to her house. I know her car is gone. She showed her car was kind of by her house. And so this is how serious this is. When you get down into places like Florida, you have a lot of waterfront properties. That stuff, that's 120 mile per hour sustained winds coming directly into those houses. You know what I mean? And so it's nothing there to kind of stop it. When you're looking at like when a lot of the places over in North Carolina and Tennessee, those are more inland. A lot of those places weren't coastal cities. And so just to look at the damage is going to be hit from here. And also I've had a driver that I know who's on the road. He was coming out of Florida. And he said, it normally takes, you normally get out of Florida, take you about, 10 hours if you're going from Miami up. They said it was taking about 10 hours to go 100 miles because it was bumper to bumper traffic all the way through Florida. Everyone's trying to flee. They said they're trying to get 6 million people evacuated.
And a lot of people, and it's crazy. It's like when you watch those movies and people are trying to evacuate, it's always that one fool in the front where their car's broken down.
Yeah.
And nobody can get around him. I always thought about if I was in that situation, I would walk out my car, knock him out, push his car out the way, throw him back in his car, and keep it pushing.
But it's not his fault. Did you watch the Breakfast Club? Those interviews they were talking about.
I
on the
stopped
Breakfast
watching
Club?
the Breakfast Club a while ago.
Well, I mean, they were showing clips of it. It wasn't so much
as they got
as watching.
Jess hilarious. I was like, I don't like her.
It wasn't so much as just me watching the Breakfast Club. They show a lot of clips, say online. You know how everyone takes clips from everything. They were showing clips online of this guy calling saying, "Hey, we don't have the money to leave."
Oh, I seen that. You know,
and he was damn near.
There was
like,
a lady that said that too.
She was in her car,
on
like
TikTok. No, she was sitting there. She's like, "Look, I got 5 people, 4 dogs. We can't go nowhere. All the hotels are booked up. Everything's booked up. There's nowhere for us.
6 million people. The first state out of when you leave Florida is Georgia. So everyone's trying to either get north and then get a room there or hit Georgia. And they're 6 million people. That's like a massive evacuation of people. I'm not saying they all left, but let's just say 1 million people left.
And how much home will actually be left? They're saying the storm is so strong that like even if it went down to a category 3, it's still it's category 4 when it hit. I was watching the news just recently. They're like, it's still a 4. You know what I'm saying? Like it has not died down. And they're saying it's like a couple miles away, couple MPHs or miles per hour away from being a category 5.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Even the biggest thing is like when it's in the middle of the water, there's nothing there to stop the winds from gusting. That's why it gets up so high when it's out in the water. And the reason why when it starts hitting land and getting inward, it slows down because you have things that are kind of able to. It's trees, there's homes, and
it's creating tornadoes. Like they've shown multiple videos. Like I'm watching a video now of a tornado hitting. And I mean, a lot of people, that's what, insurance companies are telling you this. They know what's going to happen. That's why these areas are becoming natural. That's why they're not insuring these areas anymore. They're like, look, you won't be able to live here. It's not going to be habitable soon. Yeah. Because a lot of people decided to ignore climate change, which is fine. Yeah. You can ignore climate change, but don't be bitching.
And this is like what you said earlier. There's so much misinformation and disinformation out there about what's happening. I'm watching people to me, people who are putting out all this information saying that government's controlling this or this is what's happened or BlackRock.
DEI Special Agent Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. She came out. She was like, "Oh, the government can control the weather." No, they can't, man.
That's actually a story we're going to talk about as well here, just momentarily here in a second. But I mean, it's because a lot of Americans are starting to really truly believe that. It's like we don't want to believe climate change. It's like we don't want to see that the ice caps are melting.
A lot of people just keep just doubling down. And I remember I said this on the show before. I'm like, cool. If you don't believe in climate change, you should sign a piece of paper that says, "Hey, I don't believe in climate change. So when the climate changes and we have to go underground, you can't come with us."
I mean, but bigger than that, though, a lot of times it's going to be our kids, like mine and your kids or their kids are going to have to deal with someone who doesn't. So he'll sign the paper because he doesn't care. He has nothing invested. Those people they're like, I won't be here. It won't matter to me because Florida's not going to go underwater the next 50 years. It's not going to happen.
No, it's going to be sooner than that.
But I mean, say it's 100 years. I mean, parts of it.
No. It's happening right now.
There are big chunks of land coming off, but I'm just saying a total immersion of it.
No, we're watching it right now. Watch when this hurricane gets done. The hurricanes aren't going to stop until about November, maybe. They already started early.
End of November.
Watch, Florida's going to be gone in a couple years.
I mean,
look, it's got hit with 2. Look, they haven't even recovered from the last hurricane. The guy was like, "Look, the ground's still squishy." Mm-hmm. He's like, "There's still hella water in the ground." What do you think this storm is going to do? Florida's gone. It's cooked.
I mean, but the bigger thing that I'm even saying is like, I don't want it to be that we sit back and we can say we don't believe something, then we have to let people who come after us be affected by this because everyone's watching this. We all need to be able to pay attention. Like we're watching this as a movie right now. Pay attention to this as this is what's happening all over. This is why you're getting, the fact of the matter is they're drilling so much in Texas that now they're having 400 and something earthquakes a year in Texas in a place where they weren't having earthquakes or in the Midwest where they weren't having earthquakes where they're drilling and fracking. I'm not saying we should stop, but we need to figure out what we're doing. The fact of the matter is they have all these oil wells out in the middle of the ocean. This is why the Gulf of Mexico is unusually warm right now. It's because we're warming the earth up. We've been talking about climate change this entire time. We've been watching it happen during the summer, extreme heat. What do you think? That's melting the ice caps. Now there's more water in the ocean. Where's that water? And then when it gets cold outside where do you think that water is going to go? We got to start paying attention to what's happening around here and take this stuff a lot more serious than what we are.
A lot of us do take it seriously, and a lot of people, they just don't want to believe it. They're like, "Well, what do you mean? I don't see it. It's 70 degrees right now. I don't see climate change." But then when I had an article I sent to you about Wyoming, and they're not even talking about that one, how 75,000 acres are on fire right now, and they can't even control it. They got videos of the deer running around in Wyoming. and no one's talking about it. Idaho's on fire. Western Washington is on fire.
Right
Oregon's
now,
still on fire. Right, 75,000.
It's crazy,
They're like,
man.
no one's talking about it.
And it's not like it's winter. It's fall right now. I mean, I'm sorry, it's summertime. It's fall right now. You know, this isn't a time of year where you normally see something like that.
Excuse me. 74,685 acres with only 10% containment, threatening wildlife and livestock across the region. They're about to start evacuating places in Wyoming. And this is probably the first time anyone's ever heard this. I was just scrolling through Twitter last night. And that's also another thing. They're getting on Elon Musk because he's allowing so much disinformation on Twitter that you can't find real information on there.
He's the type of person who will add to it, though. That's his whole thing. He's shown you. He put up deep fakes, man. We watched Elon. Elon's I mean, I almost feel like he's a mole who wants to kind of help destroy the country. That's the kind of person he is. And just to quickly touch on this subject, not spend too much time on it. Marjorie Taylor Greene condemned over a Helen weather conspiracy theory. Kind of like you said. It says far-right Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is facing condemnation following several conspiratorial comments amid the devastation of Hurricane Helene that seemed to suggest she believed the U.S. government can control the weather. In a post last week shared with her 1.2 million X followers, the U.S. House representative from Georgia wrote, "Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say that it can't be done." Greene does not specify to whom they is referring, but she has a history of promoting conspiracy theories around the federal government and other groups. So, I mean, don't get me wrong.
She is a DEI hire. What does she even do? What law has she passed? She does nothing but stow conspiracies and
it's her
stupid
job.
Stuff.
It's her job. She's there to. What she's learned is that her district will reelect.
I need her racist butt to come out here and
reelect her regardless. Her district will push her back into office. She can go and say damn near whatever, and they all believe that same exact thing. The bigger thing is, I'm gonna keep it real. That I've heard of governments being able to create rain clouds and stuff like that. That's a factual thing. But to say they can create these type of storms of this magnitude and they're doing it intentionally, like they were trying to say BlackRock was there's a lithium deposit in North Carolina or something like that. That's like $90 billion. So they'll come. Man, you got to understand that land is not worth that much.
So this one area of Florida could not vote during election time.
Yeah,
that's why they said it. So hold on. So the people that run your districts made it so you couldn't have relief, who are Republicans.
Yep.
And then the Democrats made a hurricane all of a sudden in the Gulf Coast to come attack you, so you still couldn't vote.
And Tampa's like one of the probably majority black districts that they're going to need. You got to understand, Florida's already.
They don't care about Tampa. They're talking about the other places. They're like, oh, Tampa's going to get hit, but let's look at Orlando. Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then we got to look at it like this. Look at Florida. Florida's already a red state. I mean, they're going to vote red regardless. I mean, so it doesn't matter who, at the end of the day, where they think they're going to beat them by. At the end of the day, even if you drove out most of the Republicans, you're still going to figure out a way to vote. They're still going to win Florida, no matter what. It's not like black people are going to go vote now. If their homes are messed up or if their homes are all fucked up, they're not going to go vote either. They're not worried about voting. They're worried about feeding their families at that point in time. So
they'd be like, hey, you want this hamburger? You don't have to sign this. Give it to Trump. And I want to talk about this gentleman. Hold on. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a DEI hire, and nothing else can tell me different. Diversity, inclusion. Because the Republicans don't want women, unless they're in front of the camera, telling them how good they look. Anywho,